Hey everybody, this is a continuation of my other video. We are dealing with the last part of part 3. Is it part 3 or is it part 4? No, it's part 3. Part 3 in the Hygge book. It's the inspiration of self-sufficiency. I am talking about the 20 different ways to make a Hygge inspired kitchen, or the different things that you may need in a Hygge-inspired kitchen. And where I left off was we were talking about impromptu cooking and keeping a well-stocked pantry. And I stopped there because she has a long list of what she keeps in her pantry. And this starts out with my fridge and pantry essentials are sea salt, black pepper, white pepper, honey, eggs, garlic, diced and canned legumes or beans and lentils, I should say. Some animal fat, i.e. chicken stock, fat, butter, no, of course, butter. Let's see here. A couple of oils to drizzle, i.e. olive oil, argan. I think I'm saying that, argan oil. We use olive oil, avocado oil, because olive oil and avocado oil, especially avocado oil, has a lower smoke factor. So here in America, because most American houses have smoke detectors, we don't want a lot of smoke going up in the air, causing the smoke detector to go off just because of heat or smoke. She also talks about Spanish or Asian rice varieties, pasta, traditional or Greek yogurts, usually plain. Her favorite spices, or your favorite spices, since it would be your kitchen. Now, we don't get certain items here in America like this one, Peter's Yard Sourdough Crisp Bread. Basically, what a crisp bread is, it's a very, very cracker-thin wafer that's basically made out of, supposed to be a type of bread. It's not soft, it's very crunchy, it's a cracker. That's why they call it crisp bread. It's very hard to find crisp bread here in America, especially in my neck of the woods. You might be able to find it closer to your bigger cities, or if you have a international food section that might carry crisp breads in, like Walmart. I don't know about any of the other local stores. Like right around me, I have Walmart, Kroger, Price Chopper, and Aldi's. Aldi's might have crisp bread, but finding certain things at Aldi's is a hit and miss, especially if it's not a normal everyday product that people buy around here. They usually try to keep my local Aldi's stocked with local essentials, and every so often they might have, like, as we get closer to a German holiday, especially a German holiday, you might find specialty foods from Germany. Sometimes they'll have specialty foods during Jewish holidays and whatnot. But she also keeps a variety of oats and homemade muesli, something like that. In the freezer, there's always a variety of frozen berries, a packet of garden peas, a loaf of sliced bread, homemade freezer jams, chicken stock, a few portions of bolognese, stew, or chili con carne. I also replenish weekly a variety of fresh fruit, vegetables, dairy products, and more perishable items. And that's about it. Due to the Joannis family love of baking, our baking pantry is quite well stocked, but in truth, you don't need as much more than a few good flours, eggs, butter, or natural vegetable oils, nuts of choice, spices, vanilla extract, cocoa powder, dark cooking chocolate, and raising agents, i.e. dry yeast or dry yeast, or fresh if you can source it. Number 15. If you really want to amplify your cooking, then keep a supply of umami rich, I don't know what that word is, UMAMI rich ingredients to add a bus of flour to otherwise plain dishes. Oh, burst of flavor. Sorry. Burst of flavor to unusually or to otherwise plain dishes. Good cooks keep the following on standby for all those fridge foraging emergencies. Preserved anchovies, not in this house. Soy sauce, chili sauce, Parmesan cheese, preserved tomatoes, olives, capers, cucumbers, onions, pickled vegetables like sauerkraut or kimchi. Kraut. We have lots of sauerkraut in this. We always have sauerkraut in this house. Seafood. Seafood. It wouldn't be a Nordic pantry without some preserved fish such as herring, mollusk, salmon, trout, and shellfish. I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast, and that's what's causing me to have problems. We're not big seafood fans in this house. Me and Jerry will eat seafood. Mom's closest thing to seafood is fish sticks. We do have frozen in our freezer some packs of frozen flounder, which I'm hoping one day me and Jerry will get to. She also goes on to say dried mushrooms, potatoes, both plain and sweet, seaweed, not in this house, all meat, basically every kind of meat that you like, go ahead and keep in your freezer. I will say this much. Fish and seaweed. Those two things are hard to come by around here. It's either very expensive and frozen, or me and Jerry, who are the only two people who would eat fish, don't eat it that often. Mostly because of Mom. Now, if I can get Mom to try some breaded fried fluke or flounder, she might like it. Don't know. Number 16. Keep a few vinegars in your pantry, including one basic cheap one for cleaning, deodorizing purposes. A pan that has a whiff of cooked fish, a spicy stew, something garlicky, all odors will disappear if you wash it in a vinegar solution. Vinegar is brilliant for giving glassware extra shine, and mixed with baking soda, it will descale your kettle. I did not realize that. I knew vinegar was great for doing some cleanings and whatnot. We do keep two varieties of vinegar: white distilled vinegar and apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is great for flavoring. It adds a certain amount of flavor to certain dishes if you need a tish of vinegar. We also have balsamic vinegar, but balsamic vinegar is considered a food item or a cooking item, not regular like cleaning vinegar. I've heard of people actually using vinegar for cleaning. I've never done it myself though. We eat as much with our eyes as our other senses. Okay, yeah. Basically, I want to paraphrase this because I'm having trouble with my words all of a sudden. Basically, what I think she's trying to say is the fact that when it comes to food, we don't eat as we eat as much with our we eat as much as we do with all our senses. So when we actually sit down to enjoy a meal, and excuse me, and a lot of people expect this when they go and enjoy a meal out of the house. Um, when our server comes with our food and sets down the plate in front of us, the first thing we notice is the smell and the sight of the food. We don't notice the taste yet. We don't know anything about the food except for what we're seeing and smelling. And sometimes, depending on where you eat, even the sizzle if it comes out on a hot plate. And I tell you what, when I go to like Applebee's, they have these skillet meals, and it comes out on a hot plate surrounded by a wooden platform or a wooden dish. I hear the sizzle of the meats and vegetables. I smell the meat and the vegetables and the spices, and I see their presentation. So when you're trying to impress, you want the smells to be perfect, you want the presentation to be perfect, and then you want the flavor to be outstanding. So when usually you don't try to impress your household because they'll eat anyhow because they have no choice. When you have guests and you're having a dinner party, you want the food to be impressive with all their senses: taste, smell, and sight, and even hearing. Because if they can hear the crunch or the snap of a steamed vegetable when they go to cut into it or bite into it, it's part of the experience of enjoying the food. I'm actually going to stop reading because most of this now is just about the aspect of enjoying the food. Number 18 is the law of diminishing returns applies to every dish. The first few bites of a delicious dessert are always the most intense. But if you serve enormous portions, and this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of fancy restaurants don't serve big portions. If the person cannot, a lot of people don't even take this in consideration, and that's why I don't try to order large portions. But the thing is, if you're in a restaurant situation and you serve portions that are too large, and either they don't eat it all and don't take it home with them because they don't think it would be worth taking home, even though I will, because I'm spending the money for the food. If I can't eat it all, I'm taking it home because, unless it's something that I totally and utterly did not enjoy, I will not take it home. But the thing is, if you get too large of a portion and you return what's left in a restaurant situation, one, that's kind of a waste because they can't do nothing with that food. They can't do anything but throw it out. Two, a lot of places when you return food to the kitchen half eaten, they wonder what was wrong. Was it too spicy? Was it not cooked enough? Did it have too much? Was it too large of a portion? What was the problem with the meal? So a lot of fancy dancy restaurants try not to serve large portions because if the portions are too large, 9 times out of 10, you're either going to return it or take it home. Take it home would be preferable, but a lot of people who spend that amount of money don't want to take it home because the reason why they're going out in the first place is because they don't want to cook. The reason why I go out is because the fact that I'm just tired of cooking. I want a day off, kind of thing. Then number 19, when shopping for food, always make a list, and if you're on a budget, prioritize spending your hard-earned money on valuable portions such as eggs, preserved fish, and energy-giving legumes and beans. Season greens and fruit in 2 or 3 different colors so that you get a balance of flavor and nutrition. Oats are a fungal, not fungal, frugal staple, and right so. You don't have to spend an absurd amount of money to eat and live well. She's right. You can have a well-stocked pantry of delicious goods that did not cost you an arm and a leg. Now, every so often when you have a little extra money, yeah, I can see you splurging on porterhouse or New York cut steaks. But for the most part, those of us who are trying to live on a budget and get enough food to feed everybody for a week or two, don't want to go out spending their hard-earned money on only a T-bone and only have one T-bone in the house for the household. And I'm not saying like that's the only thing they bought, but that's like the only meat product they bought is one T-bone, and then the rest of the week is whatever. I actually wanted to say PB&J, but that sounded a little too lowball. But I remember when I was living on a shoestring budget and my meals consisted of ramen noodles, barbecue sauce, ketchup, garlic, onion, salts, and maybe if I thought I had enough money to make it through the month or the week or whatever, those really thin cut breakfast steaks. And I had to learn how to stretch that out as far as possible. And there were some times where the last couple days or last couple days or so before I can get my next income, my next paycheck or whatever, I was eating either PB&J sandwiches, or might sound weird, might sound disgusting, but it filled my stomach, barbecue sauce sandwiches. Basically barbecue sauce spread between 2 pieces of bread and called it a meal. Sad days. But learning experience, got a lot of knowledge and learning experience out of that. Last one, number 20. The greatest gift you can give as a cook, other than feeding your friends and loved ones, is to pass on your skill to the next generation, or indeed to someone who hasn't had the good fortune to learn how to cook. If you have the time and inclination, getting children involved in the kitchen is an act of Hygge generosity. They love getting drawn in, seeing the alchemy of food at work, and of course eating the fruits of their labors. Cooking is about caring, and that means sharing your knowledge too. So, yeah, I understand what she's saying, because before I was old enough or tall enough to stand in the kitchen, of course, my father wasn't one to have people in the kitchen while he was cooking, because his methodology was, get your ingredients, throw them together, and cook, and then go by taste, and basically taste testing and make sure it tastes good and whatnot. That in factor, because me and my mom were picky eaters, it was kind of hard for him to cook the way he cooked and make it tasteful and bring it out to us at the kitchen table or the dining room table, whatever table we were eating at, and letting us eat it without somebody standing over his shoulder nitpicking. Oh, I don't like that flavor. I don't like that spice. I don't like. My father was kind of smart by like kicking everybody out of the kitchen, because like I've learned in the recent years, how do you know if you're going to like it or not until you eat it? And if you don't eat it, you don't know if you're going to like it or not. So I've learned to get over my nitpicky, turning my nose up at something that just doesn't smell or look right. I forgot what it was that Jerry Ann made, and at first I looked at it like, oh, that don't look right. Just like it looked like green mush. I forgot what it was too, and I tried it and went, oh, this actually tastes good. It's got, a great flavor. Not really keen on the mushiness because I like my vegetables to be crisp. I can handle cooked vegetables as long as they're not overcooked and mushy. It's one of the reasons why I'm not very keen on microwaved or reheated frozen vegetables, because then they end up coming out mushy. But I don't have kids, so I don't have a way of passing on my knowledge except for doing videos. My father didn't teach me how to cook. I didn't really have a teacher when it came to learning how to cook. I had to literally learn by trial and error. And I had to eat my errors, because if I did not eat my errors, I would not know that it was an error, or I would go hungry for a very long period of time. Yes, for a period of time while living with Mom here in Missouri before getting married, a lot of our meals was hamburger helper or rice-a-roni with hamburger in it, or every so often I would have a salad. But Mom did eat salads. I don't know why she doesn't anymore. But after getting married and learning things from my father, some things from my father-in-law and some things from Jerry, and then moving back here where I would cook some days, she would cook, Jerry would cook other days, things like that. I enjoy cooking. I really do. And I do try to keep a well-stocked pantry. I could one day, when things get a little more straightened up, because my pantry is a little kind of askew. It's not neat. It's all in there. It's not all of it's neat. I do have my canned goods in special little cubbies and whatnot, so they just roll forward when I want them, things like that. But like I was saying in my other video, just because it says the Nordic secret to a happy life does not mean we cannot or do not have the capacity of converting the knowledge that is in this book for American foods and American lifestyle. As I said in the other book, there is a book out there called American Cozy. It's basically a Hygge-inspired American-style book. Of course, the word cozy just doesn't sit right with me, because to me, cozy basically means you're comfortable. It does not mean you're happy, because I can be comfortable and not happy. So I'm hoping to buy that book here after I'm done with this book or done with my other books. I want to ask you guys a question, because not everybody's into it. I know there are a number of subscribers that are interested in what the Vikings, how the Vikings lived, or what their, this book I have here, the Viking Handbook, or Handbook, however you want to pronounce it. It talks about things like the village, home, and work, and it talks about their different work ethics and skills and whatnot that they had to have back then. And then the kingdom, basically it talks about social life, festivals, feasts, grooming, jewelry, hairstyles, drinking customs. Ooh, drinking customs. Weddings, games, sport. Then there's the Vikings abroad, sailing to a new world. Then they talk about Valhalla, gods in the afterlife. Oh, and then they give a timeline, the New Vinland Viking road trip, top Viking museums, and further reading. And basically it just talks about, I hate the fact that they use Viking. Should be the Nordic, because like I said in other videos, Viking is not a people, it is a vocation. It's a verb. It's basically loosely translated. If you were to say it correctly, I've been learning some of the correct terminologies. In the old school, in their language, they're not called the Vikings. They're called the Vikingeras. And to translate the word into English would be Viking, but to translate it in a dictionary type manner it's an action. It's a verb. It's considered an occupation. Translated into from the original word into English would mean pirate. It's basically what they were considered. They were considered pirates. It's not a people. It's a job. It's an activity. Raider, thief, seafarer. They originally started out as simple farmers, and when she goes, the author, when she goes to talk about this particular book, and I don't know if she's from Norway or descended from Norwegians, or anything like that, but she uses the word Viking instead of Norse in her explanations of who they were and how they lived. And like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find. Now, when she goes to say later in the Viking age, I can understand that because it was considered the age of the Vikings. But the thing is, it should say the age of the Norse. But she goes to start a sentence by saying the Viking, or the Vikings, when she should be saying the Norse. But anyhow, I can read some of that later. I've been in here way too long. Jerry's probably getting upset and hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. This is the last video of the 3rd chapter of the Hygge book. I will try to start reading some of the next chapter and put that in my next video. So until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it in the question comment box. Please keep your questions and comments to this video. Well, whatever. You guys know what to do when it comes to that area. If you enjoyed the Hygge series so far, and if you have not subscribed yet, you can hit the subscribe button and a little bell pop up. You click on that bell and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.